Welcome back to Assassin's Creed Origins, and I did promise you when we finished the game I would give you my thoughts, and it seems such a long time since we first met this long-haired bearded guy called Bayek in Siwa in episode 1. And today's video we're going to go through what I think of the game, some of the key things, and whether I would recommend you buy this. So enjoy the video, guys. Thanks for supporting the series, and let's get into it. So one of the first things that strikes you when you play Assassin's Creed Origins is just how huge this game is. The game environment is spectacular, to say the least, and once you get over that shock of doing the first kind of 9+ missions in C1 and realise it's just a prologue, you meet Bayek in the desert, and off we go riding through the sand dunes. And this is the point that you really do get your first glimpse of just how big the game actually is. I think Ubisoft have done an excellent job in providing so many different areas for you to look at, where it be the desert you're riding through the sand hills, the little sea villages, the villages next to rivers and the sea, little towns like this one, like a little oasis, or huge cities for you to explore. They've done a tremendous job at getting this all to work and all to blend into one huge country and one huge environment. And I think this keeps you engaged and it keeps you immersed in the game for a very long time. One of the things that doesn't make sense to me, and still doesn't make sense to me, is there are huge parts of the map that remain closed. And I've got to say, I've now done nearly 80 hours in this game, and there's still parts of the map that haven't been opened up with side quests or challenges or whatever. And that is a little bit of a mystery. It's a bit disappointing that they've gone to so much effort to put this game together and that they don't lead you to certain parts of the map. Now maybe that comes in later in the DLC. I certainly know that, having just completed the first DLC, that there is now an Atlas style map similar to something like Assassin's Creed Black Flag or Assassin's Creed Rogue, that you actually, Egypt is only one part of what they call an atlas or the map. But you can see that the game environment is just stunning. Very beautiful looking game. Of course, I guess with the areas of the map that aren't open, you do have the opportunity to just free roam, and it's not a case of the map being closed and you can't open it. You can just ride over there, open up that part of the map and investigate. And I guess again that's depends what your view is on that, but it does allow you to kind of free roam and go explore parts of the map. But given how many hours you put into the game, and some of the things that I'll talk about in a little while, there's no real incentive to go over. There's no quests, there's no challenges, nothing to actually lead you to the closed parts of the map. So I'm not quite sure. I think Ubisoft could have linked that a little bit better, but I think it's only a minor point. So let's move forward onto the interface and how I feel about that. I think the interface that they put in for this game is excellent. They've cleaned up the map considerably, but the menu system I really do like. So what you're first struck with is the fact that the interface is very clean. You can see you kind of map guidance up the top there, the level up in that top right hand corner, and there isn't really that much more to clutter up your screen. Now obviously when you have quests running and stuff, there's a little bit more, but not too much. So the menu system itself, here you have your targets, and I like the fact that you can kind of hover over each of these and it'll give you a little bit of an explanation. You can see we've been pretty busy getting rid of people. The map view, and I'll show a couple of things with the map view here, but it's pretty good. As you can see, I've got a lot of the map opened up now. A lot of things already finished, though there's still quite a bit to go. You see, that's a specific type of quest. I think that's actually an arena fight. Those orange ones, there's a green one there, which is the daily challenges. And you can zoom right in and it shows you what's completed, what's still to be done. Pretty nice, and you can see the question marks I still haven't discovered. So the map is pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you have the season pass or you've bought the DLC, there is another section to this, and you can see down in that bottom left hand corner where it says Atlas. And if you hit the Y button, it actually opens up a whole lot of new content. So that's where the Hidden Ones DLC is. Valley of the Kings is obviously a DLC that's coming. So you can see there's more to this than just Egypt. The quest tab is organised really nicely. You click on, get a little bit of description, what level you need to be to take the quest on, and then obviously your reward. See, I'll be pretty busy. I've finished 112 quests. I've been, a lot of hours spent. And then we come to the exciting tab, which if you want to click on it, is the gear tab, and this is where all the lovely customization starts to come into play, and you can really get your teeth into it. I do like the fact that there are just so many options of customization, either through crafting or getting the weapons and setting your character up the way that you want. You can see I've maxed some of these out, but I still need some resources to max a few out, and they can do all kinds of things to you. There is so much to do here. There's so many things that you can collect and really work on customizing your whole character, what weapons you use, what tools you've got. I'm using fire bombs. They're excellent on snakes, and you can see there's all different categories of swords and heavy blunt objects that you can really customize. Along with that comes with the skill tree. One of the big things is that Senu perception. The more towers that you open up, the better that becomes. But you have a skill tree that goes in 3 directions, so you can really tailor your customer. And then finally you have your inventory. The Papyrus puzzles are worth doing. Gives you a whole lot of information about arrow capacity, what your resources are like, what quest items you've got, whole lot of things. So really love the interface, really love what Ubisoft have done with it. So easy to use, and nothing is hard to navigate, nothing is hard to find. It's all where it should be. And you can see Bayek has changed a little bit from the first episode that we done on the channel. So now to the storylines and the quests, and I guess this is the meat and bones of the whole game, but I enjoyed the overall storyline that we encountered. I think there was so much to it. I think it was extremely strong and believable. I loved the fact that it gave you a big backstory on the formation of the Assassins organization, and it's very believable. I thought a lot of the side missions were very strong too, and it kept me engaged. Certainly kept me engaged. The only thing that I think one of the negatives was the fact that with the main quest you had to do a number of side quests to be able to continue with the main quest. That's not unusual in an Assassin's Creed game or any other game, open world game. So sometimes it was, it felt a little grindy, but most of the time it wasn't too bad. The main character, Bayek, and Aya are very, very strong. And I think the storyline that you get about their family and what ultimately happens with that, giving anybody a spoiler, is fantastic and very believable. The other thing that, of course, that the Ubisoft threw in throughout the game was a lot of other stuff that you can do. Not only the main quests, not only the side quests, but there's a number of challenges that you were set, and they were wide and varied. And these included, going out and roaming around the map and finding things like the Standing Stones, Ptolemy's statue. Let's not forget the papyrus puzzles that you collected the papyrus papers and then had to solve the puzzles and be rewarded for that. And of course, then there were the fire lakes, the fire laka, so whatever they were called, who were extremely strong and had a bounty on your head and had no other purpose in the storyline to come and disrupt you and maybe try and kill you. That was a great addition. And on top of that, you had your daily quests that you got at Nomad's Bazaar. Went out and done those quests and were rewarded with various things in a Heka chest. Usually you would get a random weapon or shield or something for doing specific daily tasks. I liked the fact that there was this part of the game where if other players had been killed, that you could avenge their death by finding the players that killed them and kill them yourself, and again you were rewarded with XP. And then the events that Ubisoft put on during the game, again, a lot of things to do with the storyline and questing, and I thought it was very, very strong in this game. The only negative I think I can take away is the fact that you spent so much time building up your character, being Bayek, and at times in the game you were forced to play as Aya, and with no customization, no influence on what weapons or whatever she had. And I think maybe with the game they could have given you a couple options to play the storyline, maybe as Aya or Bayek, but I know that probably was a difficult thing to do, given the amount of time that they probably spent building, designing and rendering this game. And so to the very last subject I'm going to cover, and one of them probably one of the most controversial for traditional Assassin's Creed players, was the combat system. The combat system was radically changed in this game, and I've read and listened to a whole lot of different opinions on it. For me, I'll give you my opinion. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was quite refreshing. It all worked pretty well, I thought, for the most part. There was times when some enemies just, I don't know, for whatever reason, despite their level, just seemed harder to kill than they should be. But that wasn't too often. Of course, I loved the fact that the Predator bow was overpowered, but they balanced that out by giving you a limited amount of arrows. That was probably the most overpowered weapon in the game for me. I think the fact that you could strengthen things using the skill tree and also crafting was excellent. It all tied in, and there was it wasn't as if there wasn't a weapon for you. There were so many choices on weapon types and how you wanted to build your character. I think it all worked pretty well. I loved the boss fights. What I'd like to say about the boss fights is, though, I'd like to have seen them get progressively harder as we went through the game. There seemed to be kind of some inconsistency in how hard some of the bosses were and how easy some of the others were. Although I've got to say, towards the end of the game, they were extremely hard to figure out and kill. And so that was quite nice. The the stuff that we done with the ships, kind of a la homage to a la kind of Black Flag. Personally, I don't think that was necessary for the game. I think there is so much in the game, content-wise, combat-wise, quest-wise. I'm not sure that the ships were necessary, but I did like the kind of reference to Black Flag, and I enjoyed it playing those missions on the water with the boats, and some of the large boss boats, if you like, if that's what you like to say, were hard to do. You can see here there's a couple of big guys. The bigger enemies were harder to kill here. So overall, I enjoyed the combat system. You know, you have the arena matches, you had the general fighting, chariot races were added in. All good. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the changes they made personally, and haven't got too many negative things to say about that. And so, is this game worth buying? Absolutely. I've played several Assassin's Creeds now, and the only Assassin's Creed that I've ever bought a Season's Pass for was Black Flag. I've got to say, with Assassin's Creed Origins, I have got the Season Pass, and I've already played the Hidden One DLC. I can't get enough of this game. It's very immersive. It is very well done. Ubisoft have spent a lot of time improving things, constantly updating, adding new content, the events, and all kinds of stuff to keep you engaged within the game. And I think this is, when we look back in a couple of years, this is going to be one of those Assassin's Creed games that are going to be up the top of the tree, and regarded as a kind of pivotal moment. It was certainly brave. They changed a lot of things. They went in a new direction, and for me, it certainly does work. And they said they didn't have towers. This animation never gets old. I love it. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. That's my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Origins. I loved bringing the series to you. I have really enjoyed the game. It's been one of those games that you can just throw onto your console or your PC, spend a couple hours just playing away and relaxing, and just switch it off and go away and do something else and come back to it when you're ready. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for always giving me your support and comments, and we will see you next time on Gaming for XP.